Say what you want to say. So do what you want to do. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us tonight. I think you guys play a very crucial role in the housing conversation in particular. But I think it's always good to get in front of a group, especially a like-minded group, just to hear what each of us has to say, kind of discover where we're like, where we're different, what meets your needs when you go into the voting booth. But I'm Linda Moore. I was born here, grew up here, graduated from Payson High School, went to John Wood, then QU, graduated from Quincy College back in 1981, and like most 18-year-olds, couldn't wait to get out of town. So I left town for a job and started out in higher education. I was an admissions counselor and athletic recruiter for McMurray College in Jacksonville and then Culver Stockton in Canton. After that, I started into special events, worked a lot in different Olympic events with national governing bodies, USA Gymnastics, USA Cycling, USA Wrestling, some of those organizations. Ended up at the Olympic Festival in St. Louis in '94, the Olympic Festival in Denver in '95, and then Atlanta for the Olympic Games in '96. As a sports fan, after you've done the Olympics, what do you do next? So I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but a friend called and said, hey, I have a job for you in San Diego. It'll be 2 years on the beach if you want to come and work on the X Games. So I figured 2 years on the beach in San Diego sounded pretty good. Then maybe I'd get a real job, but I never left ESPN until I retired in 2016. While I was there, I was the mom of the X Games, which meant I took care of the athletes and the participants, handled housing, travel, transportation, credentials, catering, hospitality, risk management, legal, staffing, all those things nobody else wants to do behind the camera. But from there, my role grew, and I took over the original entertainment unit, which included things like E60, 30 for 30, Pardon the Interruption, ESPN Films, the ESPY Awards. All of those original content was created by the ESPN. Over the course of the 20 years, I managed budgets anywhere from $14 million all the way up to $150 million. And I often came into a property that was losing money or was not providing the profit our president thought we could get, and my job was to turn it around. So I was kind of the fixer while I was there. I had my 55 and out plan, and when I turned 55, my father's health was not good. I knew my mother needed my help. So in 2016, I retired and moved back to Quincy. I didn't plan on working, but along came an opportunity to be the city treasurer. Chuck Schultz had asked me if I would be interested. I told him no twice. Third time, he talked me into it. I said yes. So I actually spent 7 years as the city treasurer. And while I was there were a number of things that I did. First of all, I cleaned up the bad debt. We were carrying about $350,000 in bad debt for 20 years, which was overstating, really affecting the income statement and the balance sheet. So I cleaned that up. Then the hotel owners came to me and said, we don't want to pay our hotel motel tax by check anymore because we can't always get here on a Friday before 4:30. Can't we do it online? So I found a platform called LocalGov, and we started collecting the hotel motel tax through LocalGov. When we passed the food and beverage tax, then we also put the food and beverage tax online on that platform too. Very user-friendly program, and it allowed us to get 90% compliance within just the first 30 days. So that worked pretty well. Then I said that, you know what, I have this business mind. I wanted to see if there was a way that I could recoup all of our expenses for the treasurer's office through investment income. So by managing cash flow and investing our idle cash, I was able to make more and more money to offset what expense was in the treasurer's office, and then what was expense in the finance department, which included the comptroller's office. And then my last year, we actually made over $2 million in investment income. So that's $2 million we didn't have to tax. So I think that helps when we can make a dollar by not taxing a dollar. That always helps. Well, then when I decided I might be running for mayor, I decided it wasn't fair for me to get a salary as treasurer while I was running for another office. So I retired last July from the treasurer's office, and a month later announced my campaign for mayor. As your mayor, one of the things I want to do is focus on what needs to be fixed and what we need to grow. And we need to fix things like our street and our infrastructure. You know, we know that. There's a culture within city government that I think has been lost over the last number of years. It's almost not about service anymore, and I want to put service back in city government. I think every city official is here to serve you, the public, and you, the taxpayer, and you, the resident. So I think some of our people forget that, but that's very important. I also want to take care of what we have and fix what we have. For example, we know our housing stock is dwindling. Housing is a complex issue, but if we can somehow stop the slide of a decent home all the way down to the fix or flat list, I think we win. The city ends up spending anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 to tear down a structure that maybe 10 years ago was a nice structure. So if we can intervene in that process earlier, maybe we can save some of our older houses. We all know potholes need to be fixed. You know, I've said in the first 100 days we're going to fix the potholes. That's not a permanent solution, but at least keeps our cars from falling apart as we're driving over the bumps. We need to communicate the plan for fixing our streets and our roads and our infrastructure. And I think that's one thing that's missing. We don't communicate that enough to the public, so the assumption is, well, they don't have a plan. Well, there's plans that exist, but they just haven't been shared with the public. So I think we need to do more of that. I also think we need more transparency, and we need to make sure you know how your tax dollars are spent on a regular basis. I intend to implement a scorecard with each of our aldermen in each of the wards so that you know how your aldermen are doing and what they're doing. I think that's important. But I also want you to know what the mayor is doing and what the other elected officials are doing. I think we need to work more closely with other government units, and I intend to do a monthly meeting with all of the governing bodies in our area. John Wood, the Park District, the County Board. We need to get together and collaborate and see where we're overlapping responsibilities and how we can make all of our dollars go further for the taxpayer. If you want to find out more about my platform, you can go to lindaforquincy.com. It's Linda, the number 4, and Quincy.com, and you'll find out more information about me. If you have any questions afterwards, I'd love to meet with you individually. I'd also like to ask you some questions, and I'd like to hear what the city can do for you as a landlord. What are the things that you need to be more effective and maybe help us work together to create more housing stock? So thank you. I'm Linda. You won't see me on the primary ballot. You will see me on the consolidated ballot, which early voting begins March 7th, and election day is April 1st. So thank you for having me, and I'm open to your questions.
Thank you.